I represent here pub psychology, but I don't feel out of place at all for several reasons. One reason is that pub psychology was inspired by pub philosophy, something that a young Oxford graduate at that time, more than 10 years ago, started in London, and I thought it was absolutely a great idea. It disappeared after a while, probably he found a job. But I thought, like, okay, well, maybe we can start something called pub psychology. The other thing why I think that I'm not out of place here, because I think that philosophy and psychology have a lot in common. A lot of subjects, actually, that we can't separate philosophy and psychology. Nowadays in psychology, people try to actually get rid of philosophy. I think this is a huge mistake. Trying to be scientific and so on. We do need desperately philosophy in psychology. So that's one of the reasons why I think that we have a lot of in common, but also I think we have the same aim, the same motivation. I'm so delighted to hear all the stories around. It's really doing the same thing, just trying to reach out to ordinary people. And that's what is motivation for pub psychology. I used to run a lot of well-being programs, and especially, I still do, with many disadvantaged groups such as HIV-positive people, young offenders, refugees, and so on. But I really found that those places and those programs are sort of limited. You get 8 sessions, 10 sessions, something like that, in a very sort of confined, bad space or whatever. I thought, okay, if I want really to reach out to ordinary people, let's go where they go. And what better place than a pub? So we started about more than 3.5 years ago at an event called Psychology for All. I don't know if that's related in any way with philosophy for all, but it's at the University of Westminster. They have the annual event, again to popularize psychology, called Psychology for All, and we started there, and now we've been running pub psychology every Tuesday, 4, sometimes 5 times a month, for more than 3 years, which is very inconvenient if you want to have a prolonged holiday. You need to find external speakers and things like that. The format is the following, so every week in a month, we do a different thing. The first week of the month, I usually present a particular subject. I was just thinking how to call it. Is it a talk? Well, it's not really a talk because I like interactive situations where everybody participates. Because just me talking for more than 10 minutes, I get bored of myself. But I bring some subjects, handouts and things like that. The subjects are like what we recently covered. The last one was a dichotomy between mindfulness and flow. Before that, extroversion and introversion. And before that, mind-body problem. And you can imagine that that's very much philosophical subject too. Then we have, once a month, we have a workshop where our participants, whoever comes along, by the way, pub psychology is the sessions are drop-in sessions, so anybody can come along at any time. First session is completely free. After that is a few pounds just to cover our expenses. Once a month we have a workshop where basically participants can bring their own issues, whatever they want to discuss. And sometimes they bring really silly things, sometimes they bring really a very deep and serious issues. Then once a month we have a debate. Just a few days ago we debated free speech, where to draw the line in light of recent events that you've all heard about, that movie that ignited rage in the Muslim world. So we just wanted to see from psychological perspective, is there a line where we should draw in this respect? And again, it's not pure psychology, it's like very much philosophical issue too. Then we have external speakers once a month. So our last speaker was talking about jealousy in non-monogamous relationships. Very topical, I think. Previous and the speaker for October is somebody who will be talking about the title of the talk will be "Therapists are not gods," getting into the mind of the therapist. So therapists usually know a lot about you, but you know nothing about them. So from the perspective of a therapist, it's interesting to hear actually how they feel and what they think and so on. Sometimes guest speakers, often our guest speakers are academics, but not always. We bring sometimes life stories. So recently we have a guy called David who was a stuntman for Harry Potter movies, and he had a terrific accident and during filming, and he got paralyzed like that. So he came along to give us his story about how he coped psychologically with his predicament, basically. From somebody, a young child who was very physically active, to somebody who basically now can hardly move. So it's a variety of things, a huge variety of things, and it's really very inspiring. I mean, I just love it. You probably want to ask me about how you're going to develop
the future, yeah, I want to know about the future. Sure.
Well, I want to say, I don't want to develop. I mean, that sort of growth model is not something that I'm interested in. I want something sustainable. And what I would like to see in the future, that actually other cells of pop psychology in other people start pop psychology in different places. We already have pop psychology in Sheffield. We have pop psychology in Birmingham, and somewhere else, I don't even know. So it's spreading, and that's what I think is great. It's completely grassroots. They have complete freedom to do whatever they like. Some of them have different formats. My point is, where we are in Sloane Square, I don't want to grow. I just want to be there. But I do hope that other people will pick up and start pop psychology in different towns or different parts of the world.
Thank you so much, Nash.